you all for having us. In the interest of time, we're going to do a very expedited demonstration. You won't see everything in the RPR, but we will concentrate on showing you some of those data layers that Jeff mentioned, and focus really on how the data that we've licensed gets integrated with the MLS data and results in incredible tools and information for realtors to help them do their business. We also have an opportunity in room 111 from 10:30 until noon to meet with any of you who are interested in seeing more about the RPR or talking about the business proposition. So we'd love to visit with you. Also, as Jeff mentioned, we have this tax API, and this is really an important value that is kind of an ancillary offering of the RPR. When we licensed the tax data from LPS for use within the RPR, it just seemed reasonable to extend that license to multiple listing services who might also need data for integration with their MLS systems. And so that's what that is. It's a free service. It's available in February. So if any of you on the MLS side are interested in finding out more information or getting detailed information about what's available in your particular market area, please stop by and see us or send an email to info@narrpr.com, and either Ron or I will get back to you with specific details. Are we there?
We're ready to rock.
Okay. Now, what we've done is we've dialed into a demonstration system that was actually built for the demonstration in San Diego at the NAR convention. We licensed data from an MLS in the San Jose, California market area, MLS Listings, Inc. It's one of the largest MLSs out there. They were exceptional to work with, and they'll be one of our beta testers, so we're real excited to be able to show you not only real live RPR application, but real live MLS data integrated. As I mentioned, we're going to do a real quick demonstration, and I'm not going to zero in on every feature and benefit. There are things that you'll see up here that I'm not going to talk about in the interest of time. Things like Q-Score, the very important social networking component of RPR that Jeff mentioned that's just huge and incredibly valuable. What I'm going to do is focus on the data and show you the data layers that Jeff mentioned. Try not to fall over and hurt myself. Oh yeah, that's a good idea. One of the things, Ron is going to pull up the tips. One of the things that we've incorporated into RPR that we think is really, really important is online contextual help. And on any page of the RPR, you can click the little button that he just clicked called Tips, and an overlay will appear on the screen that points to the different areas of functionality with links to a knowledge base and also to short videos that help you learn how to use those tools in your day-to-day business. We'll also, of course, have regular old-fashioned help by the telephone, email help, and chat. All of those will be available on the RPR. But let's go back to the data. And we're going to start with a quick search in a zip code in San Jose, 95123. And you'll see a lot of capabilities within the RPR that look similar to you because in many cases it sort of mirrors some of the functionality in an MLS system. Keep in mind, though, as we go through this, we're not searching MLS records, we're searching all property records because the RPR is the property-centric database, as Jeff mentioned. When you first do a search, you can search by neighborhood, zip code, subdivision, whatever criteria you'd like to search by. In this case, we searched by zip code, and you'll see that the first two listings that match those criteria have little stars under them because in a previous session, I had marked them as favorites. Maybe they're properties that I'm interested in, properties that I think might come up for sale, properties that I've shown. So by marking them as favorites, they'll always float to the top, and I'll have a quick preview of what's happening with that particular property. I can also click them to compare them, and then pull up a report that is a comparison report of 5 properties within the RPR that I have selected. So that's a really cool tool that gives you all of these details right down to the map at the bottom that shows the placement of those properties. If we go back to the search results page, let's do the map. Do the map page. The first page, the summary page, shows you that you're matching properties in a list view. You have the option to look at those properties on a map. Mapping is very integral with the RPR, and you'll see lots of ways that the maps are included. What you see here actually is a version of mapping that will not be on the beta test version. We're implementing some new technology called Silverlight technology. Some of you may have heard of this. It's satellite imagery that zooms in and it just does all kinds of wonderful, cool things. This map view, though, provides the results of your search on a map. And the map gives you also incredible tools to be able to further refine and work on your properties. The first one is a set of map tools that let you draw a search area, center the radius search, and even create an optimized driving route. So that if you're going to be showing properties, you can quickly and easily figure out the best route to get there. The next layer, the next tab is for map layers, and this is where we begin to integrate some of those data layers that Jeff mentioned. We've spent literally hundreds of thousands of dollars licensing data, and one of the places that we demonstrate the value of that is by overlaying it on maps. Are any of you familiar with the site to do business? Any commercial realtors here? This is a database that the commercial realtors use. The data is called Tapestry data. And it's incredibly high-value information about psychographic and demographics that take you down to the purchase level of people in a neighborhood. This is the kind of data that retailers use, for example, to determine where they want to put in a retail store. It helps a baby store decide whether to carry more Pampers or more Huggies, because they know from this kind of data what people buy in that marketplace. It's incredibly valuable to help you become better experts about your local markets. And all of this information is going to be incorporated in the RPR and will be available not only in maps and tools and charts and graphs, but also overlays on the maps. So if we go, let's go now to a particular property, and let me take you through how we display the data and what the tool sets are in a particular property.
Snowboard. Yep. And you know, I do have some friends here, and they now realize I've made a career out of browsing the internet. It's really what I do. Go right ahead.
Okay. All right. We pulled up a particular property, and there are basically 4 pages of information about every property in the RPR. The first page is a summary page. And this is where you see a presentation of information that we've aggregated from various sources and displayed in a very concise and specific format. The top of the page includes an automated valuation, in this case also the list price because the property is for sale, some information from the multiple listing service, this very cool map that allows you to zoom in, drag and drop, recenter the subject property, and then also do overlays of some of that data that I mentioned from both the Tapestry data and other data sets that are set up as thematic maps. This is a good example of a housing density overlay, and that just basically shows you, if you look at the legend below the map, the green areas are more open space, the blue areas are more densely populated, so you can see exactly what's happening around that property. Some of the data layers that we've incorporated that weren't on Jeff's list are things like environmental information, flight paths, what's another one? Public transportation, those kinds of things. The rest of the information on the page, in the center there is the photographs and the internet remarks from the multiple listing service. As I said, this property is listed, and a big part of what we're trying to do with the multiple listing services is integrate the data in a way that makes really good sense for the agents and the brokers who will be using it. Obviously, a critical component of the data is the property's listing status, price, photos, and so on. We then begin to present, in the next screen, you'll see that we have a list of information about the particular property. The first column is called Public Facts. This is the information that we gather from tax assessment data and deed recordings. The second column is Listing Facts. This is the information from the actual listing record. And the third column is a bunch of blanks. Because the whole idea behind the